Hey, this is Matt once again with about 10 videos, another paid request, this time for DarkMetalSpider. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. So this is for Earth versus the Flying Saucers, a 1956 film. That the major star is the Ray Harryhausen stop motion effects of the UFOs themselves. Just the movie itself, I thought was kind of mediocre, kind of fit in that 50s realm. I wouldn't say the acting or the dialogue is really anything to run home about. The story, you have the scientist, last name Marvin, and his bride. The bride is the daughter of the general. They're driving to this base for Operation Skyhook. All these satellites are supposed to be in the air, but for some reason they're getting shot down. Which I don't know why they're so surprised, because it mentions at the beginning that there's been reports of UFOs everywhere, and then while they're driving, they see a UFO almost hit them, almost get them in a hit and run, and then it takes the male scientist forever, where, yes, how's it been destroyed? Why? What the fuck do you mean why? He eventually does tell the general, but it's like, immediately said, well, maybe it's that fucking UFO that almost hit me and your daughter in the face. I don't know why I had to take them like another 5 minutes to bring that shit up. I would have brought that shit up quick. So other events happen where they see what they call electric particles in the sky, but they look like two flashlights. They look up, it looks like two flashlights in the sky, kind of doing this. And so ultimately they're at this base, and a UFO does land, and I really do like Ray Harryhausen. The stop motion effects. Just like the stop motion just has a certain look where it's animated, but it's still physically there. You just see something tangible there. It just has a uniqueness to it that I find fascinating. Where, again, it is a physical product, but it's moving in a state that maybe it's not natural, but it still makes it feel different, and it just an interesting way of doing an effect. So immediately these aliens come out. They have this metal stuff on them. Immediately the military shoots them, although that's probably realistic. That probably military shoot first, ask questions later. So maybe that's the most realistic part of the movie. But the way the aliens look in these metal suits, I mean, there are beings under them, but the suits look like hot pockets or something. I don't know how else to put it. They look like hot pockets. They look like they try to have Robbie the Robot, but with no budget. So there's like nothing on them. They kind of just. I don't know why it made me think of Hot Pockets. I don't know why. I was hungry when I saw it. I don't know. But some of the soldiers get vaporized. The general gets taken and scan his brain. And they shoot the shit out of this place where the scientist and his bride are trapped underground. Now the guy says, well, they'll dig us up some point. Now, I don't know how long that would be. It's just the next bit, yeah, they were saved. I mean, how did they know they were underground? I guess they would assume it, but I mean, in reality, that probably would have taken weeks, but not in this movie. That weeks to go through the wreckage and, hey, let's, check underneath. Although, thankfully, everything went up shit creek up top, but nothing down below, like, shook and dismantled and blew up or anything. But, Either way, they did survive. The scientist guy, he wishes he could have, because they, when they saw the UFO earlier, they got this message. He couldn't figure out what it said. He eventually found out way too late that it was sped up. That if you slowed it down, you could hear the aliens talk. He blames himself for not figuring that out sooner. So he wants to have another meeting. They don't want him to do that, but he drives anyway. So a major, the scientist's bride and this patrolman chase the scientist. They all get abducted. The UFO assholes, they say how they're survivors of a dead solar system. And the range of conference in DC. And the show We Mean Business, we're going to destroy this destroyer. Now I'm trying to remember. I thought they said 2 days, but then it seems like they got like a shitload of days too. Because I thought the aliens said you got 2 days, but then they actually had like a shitload of days, so that the scientist was able to create this fucking sonic weapon. I must have misconstrued what they were saying. I probably missed something there, so whatever. They give him a certain amount of time, and within that time, the scientist figures out the sonic weapon to create. And that, despite the fact that these aliens have these metal suits on, a gun can just shoot them. So I don't know what kind of metal they have, but the fact they're not bulletproof is a bit weird, but okay. Well, this metal from another world, but it's not bulletproof. It means how shitty your suits are then. At least they look metal. Maybe they're not supposed to be metal, but they look metal. Also, it was funny during that scene that of all the people they killed, the aliens, they killed the guy who's like limping with a cane. I just to show just how much fucking dickheads these aliens are. You got a cane, you can barely walk, you're dead. It's like, fuck you. Fuck you and your limp. Limp your way to the morgue, limp your way to heaven. And the UFO also blows up a plane. Although it's funny, like you see the cockpit of the plane, and they're just flying, and they see a UFO, but they have like no reaction, no screams, no what is that, what the hell's going on. It's just they're doing this, and then the UFOs in front of them, they're still doing this. They get shot, they're still doing this. Did no scream, no reaction, no oh my god, just did get blown up. And then they throw the bride's dad and the patrolman out of there like garbage. So to show even more how dickhead these aliens are. And pretty much the finale is the military now has these sonic weapons because thankfully the UFO guys, they gave them enough time to create this thing. And yeah, sorry about that background noise. There's people doing stuff outside, construction and stuff. Wonder what's that noise? So it's the UFOs. They're pissed that I'm saying stuff about them. That's what they are. They don't try to vaporize me next. It was fine to watch. Where the 1950s type of sci-fi films, good or bad, more so or less so, they're still interesting to watch because of the different world of filmmaking back then. What are you able to showcase and not showcase? What you're able to say and not say, the type of dialogue, which we think of how people talk nowadays in movies, let alone real life. It's not going to be that way back then. The vernacular they use, the fact that Mostly they cast much more adult actors, not just people out of the magazines and I would say the CW, but CW is a long gone thing nowadays. And how the actual science is always just thrown out the window. So yeah, we're gonna create this sonic weapon, and there's a lot of times we make up names, the dehumidifier and the transmogrifier and what the hell else is in these sci-fi films, and the people just take it for granted, just take it at their word. Nowadays we picked and poked and made fun of and go, that's unrealistic, but I guess we give just a lot more leeway to these type of films because of the era they were made in. So there is a charm to seeing these movies back then, and the black and white photography, which is nice to look at. Like I said, the acting from the lead guy is there. I thought he was a bit bland. The lady, the bride, she was fine. I wouldn't say the acting was really anything to run home about, but it's not the worst I've seen either. It was serviceable at best. Listen, the story, the title is the story. The flying stars would come in and they warn you, and they say, well, we don't want to take you by force because we don't have a lot of us, but you know, we want to talk and stuff. At the same time, you tell that they're dickheads too. And some of the old school effects are fun in a charming way. Like they scan the general's brain, and then we see kind of the inside, where we see his face, but then without cutting, like we see the it dissolve. We see the brain from within. Like I said, the star is the Ray Harryhausen stop motion effects, which you see a lot at the end. And they're crashing the monuments, like the Washington Monument or the Capitol Building. And it's pretty much either the flying saucers shooting at them or they're shooting at the saucers and they're crashing. Again, I think the most famous shot is it crashing into the Washington Monument and it falling. It's funny at one point the guy goes, keep firing at the saucers. I'm like, why wouldn't they keep firing? As opposed to what? Stare and watch? And go, hey, how's it going? Just put a thumb up my ass. No, I'm not going to. Yes, I will. I will not fire. Actually, I was not going to fire. I'm just going to keep watching. So, it didn't feel too long of a movie. If you wonder what I'm doing, I'm seeing if there's any background in it. It's a 6.3 on IMDb. Nail biting, outlandish, and frightful. No, I didn't think it was nail biting or frightful. But if that's what they feel, that's what they feel. Okay, I was seeing that there was a. For increased realism in the scenes depicting saucers crashing into monuments and government buildings, he also animated falling masonry. Some animation of figures was used to show the aliens emerging from the saucers. Much stock footage was used, that's true, including the shots during the invasion of a missile launch and of batteries of 90mm M3 guns firing. Film of the destruction of the Barham during World War II was used to depict the sinking of a destroyer. Yeah, that's when they were showing them, like, we mean business. Scenes showing satellite launches use footage of a Viking rocket takeoff and a failed V-2 rocket launch. Planes crashing after being hit by an alien ray utilizes film of a 1944 accident at an air show near Spokane, Washington, involving military aircraft. I don't know about the people who died during that, how they feel about their footage being taken for entertainment purposes, but they're dead, so I guess they don't have a voice anyway. The film's iconic flying saucer design matches eyewitness descriptions recorded by Major Donald Keyhoe in his best-selling nonfiction book about UFOs. There was a 4-issue comic book miniseries, Flying Saucers vs. the Earth, released by Tidal Wave Productions as part of the Ray Harryhausen signature series, which reimagines the events of the film from the perspective of the alien invaders. A preview of the first issue was included on the 50th anniversary DVD release of the film. And the director, I want to see what the director has done. Fred Sears. Passed away in 1957. Really? So he passed away only a year after this film came out. That's crazy. That's weird. He passed away in November 1957, but I guess he had a lot of movies finished because afterward, 1958, The World Was His Jury, Going Steady, Crash Landing, Batman's Country, and Ghost of the China Sea. It's a lot of movies, and they were all released after he had passed away. Huh. He also directed The Giant Claw, The Night the World Exploded, Apache Ambush. Yep, bunch of films. Back in the day, a lot of westerns. So in this era, a lot of stuff like The Werewolf, Miami Expose, among others. So, based on the 1953 book Flying Saucers from Outer Space. And yeah, I do like the designs of the saucers. They're very simple but very effective. Very classic look of the flying saucers. And like I said, the stop motion animation, I'm a sucker for that stuff. They look pretty cool to me at least. Like I said, the rest of the film, like there are times where you're kind of just waiting for the next Ray Harryhausen effect to take place. And when that's not happening, I wouldn't say it was the most interesting movie. So it's probably not a film I would ever watch again. I probably just watch the highlights on YouTube of those effects. But I say, if you're a sucker for sci-fi 50s movies, you could do a lot worse than this movie. So I still think it's worth at least one look for people who love this type of stuff. Like I said, I'm always curious about this type of stuff because it's a bygone era, and just see how how people talk, how people look. Just it's a nice sort of time window to look back on what seems like just a completely different world compared to today's age. So, no politics, no BS of that nature. Just as deep as entertainment. Might not be the best, but still, and there's still some charm to it. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.